All right, so um, if in the future you need to change the logo to your scroller, the first thing that you're going to go to is your web graphics. So under website, your web graphics are here. And I created this folder called sponsors just to keep it organized for you. I've uploaded all of the ones that you gave me in that email. I'm just going to do a test one so we can see how this all works. So adding a web graphic. Am I going too
Okay.
fast?
No, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
So you created a folder, yet all of these, if you go to the just the regular search, so if you get out of that, all these, so it's not showing. So don't do sponsors. Don't, these were all already entered, like the 1 GPA and the not like see the um Hub Express put in where it says default folder, the 1 GPA logo, not the people, but Aaron, let's see. There's other logos in here. S-
So like Dave Bang.
Yeah, they're see these are default folders. So what's the where can I delete these ones that are in the default ones if they're not going to be part of the sponsors? So they put these in here originally when we first did it the first year.
It's up to
So
you. It's really just an organizational thing that I just tend to follow.
because I
Having
went to delete these and I thought I was doing it right, like deleting all of the old ones,
Mhm.
but they were still showing up on the main page.
Oh, so that's a totally different thing. And if for the sake of, like keeping things clean and organized, if you do want to delete the ones from the default folder, or if you don't like having the sponsors folder that I created, this is just like kind of like having a file in your own like drive. It's just
Right.
for you. If I were to delete it here, it I think it'll make sense
It,
when I start walking you through how it works.
yeah, because it doesn't delete it on the main page. Because
It
that's what I
may,
was trying to do, and it
that's
didn't delete it on the
weird.
main page.
Okay,
So
that's
that's
weird.
because that's where I first went to was here because I know all of our pictures are in here and all that kind of stuff. So it wouldn't, it didn't delete any of the
I'm
logos on the
not
main
sure.
page. So,
I'm not sure what was happening when you went in
okay.
to try to do that, but I wouldn't advise going that route to take down a logo because that can actually probably mess with the the look of the scroller. But I can show you the best way to do that too.
Because I want to remove some of these
Okay.
logos that we don't need.
The
Like,
ones that the ones that you send me, I think there were 16 of them. Are those all like active and current?
yeah, but you have the ones that have default logo. Like, so you have, look at Dave Bang. You have it listed as a sponsor. I'm fine with actually having that listed as a sponsor, but you look underneath it, there's a default folder of Dave Bang. I don't need two pictures of Dave Bang.
Yeah,
Default
that's up to
folder
you.
was, but if I delete it, because that's what I was doing before, it didn't remove it from the front page.
Right. I'm not really sure what was happening there, but for instance, this one that was previously on the scroller is no longer on your homepage anymore because when I show you how to go in and edit the homepage, it's a different process than just deleting it here, which you can do, and I'm just going to go ahead and do if that's all right with you.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, the folder is just for organization and having duplicates, you have like basically infinite space on your Club Express account. So you can have, a bunch of, photos or duplicates. I mean, keeping it clean is just basically like managing your preference of organizing it.
Because when I go and I'm doing a lot of, um, yeah, I like it clean. So I'll, as long as if I delete these on here that listed as default folder, I'm deleting them, and I'll do that another time. I just thought I'd ask. I just wanted to ask if it wasn't going to be an
Okay.
issue.
Yeah, and even like so for instance, I've made the sponsors folder. So when you go forward, when you go to add a new sponsor and a new logo graphic, you can put it in the sponsors folder just so it's easy to find in the future. And you never have to delete them. So like say Home Depot is sponsoring you in 2025, but they're
Mhm.
not sponsoring you in 2026. You're not going to need to delete it here to take it off the website, the homepage. That's just not the way that you would go about it. But you can always keep that Home Depot, image in the sponsors folder just in case, okay, maybe 2027 they're going to sponsor you again. Well, now you know it's sitting right here. You're not going to have to upload a new logo again, and it's just there ready to go. So the way that you would delete it or replace it, the way that I would recommend doing that, I'll show you that. But first, I'm going to upload a test logo that we can play with.
Okay.
So adding a web graphic, I have a test logo, and then I'm going to save it in that sponsors folder. And then with Club Express, you often have to refresh the page. And we have it right down here. And there it is. So the first step, if you're changing out an old one or you're just adding an additional one, is coming here and doing what I just did, uploading it, putting it in this folder if that's what you'd like to do. And then you're going to use this clipboard and you're going to copy this image URL. There's a little button right here that just copies it automatically for you. Okay. And then you're going to go to the home page, which is where we're going to start to make edits. Have you done this before?
Sponsorship. That's what I need to
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you again.
learn. You've been the main person for the website since we implemented it. So that's the sponsorships that was never showed me.
Okay. Are you familiar with this tab here and going into edit?
Uh-huh.
Okay, cool. All right. Um, and one thing to mention, I don't know if you know this, but all of these previous versions, if you ever make a mistake, you can always come back to an old version that brings you back to before you made the mistake. So it would be like this one, for instance. Currently on version 25. If you mess up version 25 and accidentally make it active, you could go back to version 24 and reactivate that page. But that's just a heads up. So when you go into edit, scrolling down, here is the 100% row with the sponsor scroller. You'll click on this and insert advanced editor. And now, are you saying something? Sorry, it's muffled a little bit.
It's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. Instinct would maybe tell you to highlight the image, right click and change it. But the way that this particular code works can really mess up the formatting and just have it spaced weird, have really big logos or really small logos. So I'll show you an easy way to do it, but I would avoid doing this so that you can keep the code looking good and keep the scroller looking good going forward. So the first thing you're going to do is move from design into HTML. And there's a lot of information back here. You can ignore all of this information, and what you're looking for is these lines where where the images were in bullet points. That's an LI tag. Each one is in its own line. So we are looking for those, and they're right here. Oops, I'm sorry. So these LI tags, each one here is a different logo with a different link when you click on that logo. So if you remember when I uploaded the web graphic and I copied the link to the clipboard, I have that ready to go. And so this is the first logo. Like I said, this is the second logo. Let's say we're not working with, here we have cartsparts.com. Say we're not working with cartsparts.com. They're not sponsoring us anymore, but I have a new group. So what you're looking at in the HTML is the image source equals and that quotation. That's where you're going to paste the link to the web graphic that I uploaded. So that's that test logo. You just want to make sure that the quote is still here and the quote is still at the end here. The second thing that you want to do is link to their website. So it would be, you know, copying and pasting it or typing in testlogo.com, which obviously isn't going to work if I were to click on it. All right, so I'm going to save it and just take a look at what that did. Okay, so it's right here. Does that make sense to you?
It does. It's just me looking at all those lines.
I know. It's weird when you're not used to it, and I'm a little bit used to it, and it's still weird for me. But hopefully having this video will be good for you to come back and reference if you need to.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to mention to you is if you're going in here and you're afraid you're gonna mess something up, right? You could copy it and just paste it into a notepad, which I did right here. So in case you do mess something up, you have it. And this is another alternative. I showed you how you could go back to a different version, a previous version of the page and make it active. It's just like a good practice to just save it, just for peace of mind if you do make any mistakes. And also, if you do mess something up and you need help, you can always reach out to me. Okay, so there was one other thing I wanted to show you. Well, just to go back to this again, this gobbledygook of wall of text. So the ahref is when we're referencing a link. So that's how every link is built, like on the internet. Ahref equals quote, testlogo.com, quote. So that's what's going to be making it clickable. And then the image source is what we found before in the web graphics. And that's where you will paste that. So I want to actually go back to having carts parts. So luckily I saved it over here in my notepad. Actually, I want to show you one more thing before I do that. Okay, let's get out of this. Let's save it. I'm not going to make this live on your homepage because I don't want that to show up, but I can save this as a different version that exists in the versions manager. It's this one that I just created, but it's not active on your homepage, so you don't have to worry about it showing up. So yeah, that last thing I wanted to show you is if you go back into the web graphics and you find that test logo. So it was kind of big compare, and I do have this the scroller set up so that if the image is very, very large, it'll keep it in a certain size. So that's actually the original size of the image, but it reduces it. But still, compared to the other logos, because some logos are going to be like kind of skinny and rectangular, like some of them are like really large and circular or something. To make it more cohesive, if you think that it might need to go down a little bit, you can go into the image editor and you can resize it from there. And it's really easy. You just hit this minus sign. Maybe we want it about that big. And then you can save it by or apply it by hitting the check mark. And you're going to save and close. If you save as a new image, it's not going to change the one that we have on the home page. It's going to create a new one, if that makes sense. So saving and close. So now we have a little tiny, tiny logo. Now I'm going to see what that looks like on the version that I created, which was this version just a few minutes ago. Let's take a look at it. And Club Express has a little bit of a lag time for updating. Usually it can happen right away, but sometimes it takes about 5 minutes. Or you can do something called a hard refresh, which is when you hold down the shift key while you press refresh. And that sometimes speeds it up for you. But let's see if it worked. Yeah, cool. So now it's more in line with the rest of the logos, whereas before it kind of jutted out down below.
What about that space that's between that and Danson? That's a big space.
Yeah, it's not totally, unfortunately, it's not totally, how do I say this? So
Gotcha.
basically each square holds each logo, and there are dimensions on the square, say 200 pixels by 200 pixels. And depending on how small you size the logo or how small of a logo you get from the sponsor, it might not be exactly like here, it's just a little bit bigger. Um, Unfortunately, like there's not too much I can do with that. And the place where I found that it is the most prominent is right here with this Mojave Cooperative because it's just so small. Uh, I fiddled with it a little bit and it's tricky. This code that Club Express offer created for you guys, it's not the easiest to work with, to be honest. But this is the cleanest, and I think it looks pretty good. But if you are wanting it to be cleaned up a little bit more in that regard, I can send it to my. Do you remember Michael with Club Express?
Yeah, I worked with him for a year.
Okay,
So
yeah. So I could send it to Michael and just be like, hey, what's going on with this code? Is there any way to edit it? And if you want to, I can go ahead and do that too.
just so that it's closer together, or
Yeah, I'll just point it out I'll send it to him. I'll point it out to him and see what I get back. Do you have any questions?
no, because the best part is you recorded this, so I could go back
Yeah,
and do it.
yeah. Yeah, it's pretty simple. Once you are more like, once you're more used to working behind in HTML, it won't just look totally like a wall of text. And if anything isn't ever looking right to you, you can just hit me up, just send me an email, and I'll take a look at it. But yeah, I will send this recording to you after this, and I'll send Michael the code and see what he says.
Instructor that did this, so
Sorry, I can't hear
nobody
you.
else had this headset. We were the first chapter that did this, the scrolling sponsorships.
Yeah, it's great.
So, like other chapters have followed us, I think. So, but we were the first ones.
Yeah, and Club
But
Express is always updating and adding new features and things, and I think it would be really cool if they added a way more user-friendly, like a module that you can have an ad scroller or a sponsor scroller. So maybe that's something they do in the future.
well, and that's the hope. I mean, there's a lot of things that we would prefer to be changed
Yeah.
on the website or added. So, but it's fine. But this is something that I do once a year. So hopefully with this recording will help me so that in December I can change it and not have problems.
Yeah. And like I said, if you do, just reach out to me and I can help you with it.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'll forward this recording over to you.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Have a good day.
I you too.